Hi everyone. We are here on a Thursday this week. Hope you guys are all doing well. Just sharing my screen now. Now, maybe it's because of the heat. We are going through a crazy hot time. I thought I would do a call today that was based on easy things that you can do that are going to accelerate your results. I thought that would be a good thing to talk about, considering that, if you're feeling like me, energy might be a bit low right now. Fatigue might be setting in a bit. If it is, it's pretty normal. It's been very hot for a very long time. I think we've got one more hot day tomorrow and it's going to cool down a bit. But I wanted to really talk about just going back to the basics in a way with this call and just reaffirming on why we're doing some certain things. And there are some things that we'll cover that seem quite maybe elementary and maybe quite basic, but I've deliberately designed it that way. I want you guys to leave this call today thinking I could literally implement that from tomorrow. That's how simple and how easy I want this call to feel for you guys today. Some of this stuff you guys might already know. Some of you who are new probably do not. It's all good. I think whether you're learning this for the first time or if you're relearning and brushing up your memory, it's going to be really useful for you anyway. But what I want you to take away from today's call, as well as thinking I can implement this tomorrow, I want you to also learn that the biggest improvements don't usually come from doing more. It usually comes from doing the basics really well. And that is what the whole sort of, I suppose, ethos of this call is about. So we often look for the wrong solutions. I've been very guilty of this myself in the past. I talked to you guys a lot about shiny object syndrome, about how when you're doing something, sometimes it can get a bit mundane, get a bit boring, get a bit repetitive. We see this shiny new thing on the horizon that promises a wonderful result. We get tempted. We get tempted to move over to it because what we're doing might feel a little bit repetitive, a little bit boring. That's the shiny object syndrome, and it's a very real thing. We often look for things and we often look for the wrong solutions. Sometimes we think what we need is a brand new diet if we're not seeing progress 1 week, more cardio, less food, a fat burner, a more complicated or even just a totally new plan or the latest weird AI thing that you've seen being created that's promising absolutely insane results. Because of the shiny object syndrome, we often look for solutions in that place, but most of the time, and I'd actually argue to say pretty much all the time, your answer isn't a shiny new thing. Your answer is mastering the basics and getting the basics right. And that is what this call is about. So I'm going to go through 5 different habits that I really want to talk to you guys about. And I would also want you to know that when I ask you to do these things, when I recommend for you guys to do these things, why we actually do it and why it's actually so important. So the first thing, drinking more water. Again, seems pretty elementary. We know we need to drink water. It's good for us. But why is it actually good for fat loss? And why is it actually good at accelerating our results in a really easy way? It's one of the easiest ways to improve fat loss. There's a few different reasons why it's really good. It can help control hunger to an extent. Now, what I don't like is when you hear people say, "Oh, if you're hungry, have a glass of water." Like pretty much really often, like your hunger gets mistaken for thirst. I don't know about you guys. When I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I don't believe that. I think that's really unhelpful as well. Like if you're in a calorie deficit and someone goes, "Have you tried having a glass of water?" You're like, "Oh my God, that's not going to help me, right?" But it will help a little bit. It's a really good idea when you are trying to lose weight to make sure that you are hydrating, you are drinking a lot of water, just to minimize hunger or cravings as much as possible and to keep you feeling good energy-wise as much as possible. But I don't like when people say, "Oh, we very often mistake hunger for thirst." I don't often do that. I don't know about you guys. But there's other reasons why it's really good. It improves your training performance, helps you to lift better, lift stronger, get stronger over time, which is also good for accelerating fat loss. Supports your digestion, which is obviously great. Helps regulate your body temperature. Absolutely wonderful considering how hot it is at the moment. But the main thing is that it reduces a lot of water retention when you're consistently hydrated. You guys know, especially all the ladies here, your weight's going to go up and down all the time. To an extent, there's nothing we can do to change that. If you're a woman that menstruates and has a menstrual cycle right now, you could be absolutely perfect with everything and you are still going to see the scales go up and down. That's just because with everything that happens with our body during the time that we build up and have our period, there is water retention there. But being hydrated and drinking a lot of water can reduce that significantly and can make it a lot more manageable. So you want to aim for 2 or 3 liters a day. If you're a very active person, if you do a lot of cardio, which some of you guys do, or if it's very hot, it is right now. You might want to up that slightly as well, maybe up that to like 3.5. But 2 to 3, if you're hitting that pretty consistently each day and you're somebody who does like 2 to 3 strength sessions a week, you're pretty active with steps, maybe you do 1 or 2 cardio sessions a week or something. If you're doing that amount, 2 to 3 liters per day is going to be a great amount for you. But right now, because it's really hot, everyone should really kind of be pushing for 2.5 to 3. This is what you want to aim for. And it is really good at helping the scales to not fluctuate as much as possible. And it does make a really big difference. And just a thing for you guys to remember, if you are ever bloated or feeling thirsty, you are dehydrated. So if the scales are not playing ball and are jumping up and you're feeling that way, it's going to be the lack of water. So it's a big thing to think of. So here are some really quick, easy wins. Remember, I said I want you guys to look at this call, listen to this call and think, oh, I could do that tomorrow. Easy wins for you to start implementing. Drink a glass of water before every meal. Set that as a rule. Every time I sit down to have a meal, or whether I'm having my meal on the go, I have to have a glass of water. Carry a reusable water bottle with you everywhere. Flavor it with squash or flavor it with some fruit if needed. I do that all the time. Squash has very negligible calories. I think it has like 2 calories per glass or something. So if you're in a deficit, I'm sure you can spare that. Mix it up, keep it exciting, keep it interesting, add in some squash. Also, if you're forgetful, if you're like me, I'm very forgetful with my water. I'm actually pretty bad for this. I set alarms on my phone. So an alarm will go off at like 9 a.m., 11 a.m., whatever I need. I have to stop, I have to drink water. And that also really helps if you're forgetful like me. So these are some really easy things that you can guys can start to implement. If you want to make notes on this, make some notes because these are super easy wins that you can start doing from the next day. Habit number 2, prioritize your sleep. Sleep is a big one. Sleep is something I really want us all to really hunker down on and put more of an emphasis on at the moment. So here's what poor sleep can do for you. It increases your hunger hormone. You have a hunger hormone called ghrelin. When we're not sleeping, that hunger hormone goes through the roof, but also it reduces how full you feel. And that is a hormone called leptin. So ghrelin is your hunger hormone, leptin is your fullness hormone. These hormones, when we're not sleeping well or if we're not sleeping enough hours, they go really out of whack. That's why when you're tired, not only do you feel crap, you suddenly get cravings for nutritionally poor, like fast food, greasy food, sugary foods. That's why we really crave it. And as a result, it's so much harder for you to stick to your plan. Someone here, like, when you have those nights where you get like 2 or 3 hours sleep, and some of you guys might not be sleeping very well in the heat at the moment, which is very normal, you are so much less motivated, right? Suddenly, going to the gym doesn't sound that appealing. Suddenly, eating your meal prep doesn't sound that appealing. It makes everything difficult, and it's much harder to make good decisions when you are exhausted. And also, it does reduce our gym performance as well. It means we can't lift as heavy. So this is the reason why fat loss and sleep are so inextricably linked and so important. And I can't tell you the amount of ladies that I've worked with over the years who have said, like, I'm tracking my food, I'm doing my steps, I don't know why it's not working. And then we realized that they were getting like 3 hours of sleep per night. So that was something that really had to be fixed and had to really be shifted. And that has made a really big difference for their fat loss results as well. It's really hard to lose weight if you are not getting good quality sleep. So ideally, in an ideal world, for women, 7 to 9 hours is great. For guys, 7 to 8. But for women, we need a little bit more. 7 to 9 is the most ideal, and that would be perfect. However, I know that a lot of you guys are parents with young kids, and I know there's a lot of you guys that maybe do struggle with your sleep. So I'm not saying you guys will be perfect. Go away and get 9 hours of sleep per night now. I know that's not the reality for a lot of you guys. So we're going to talk about some practical things that you can start to do to help with this. So some action steps if you struggle with sleep right now. The last thing I want to do is put pressure on you guys to get better sleep because I know this from times in my life where I've not slept very well. The second you go, right, I really need to lock in now and I need to have a really good night's sleep, suddenly you have the shittest night's sleep ever, right? Because you've put so much pressure on yourself. So I don't want to put pressure on anyone, but here are some things that you can do to help you out, first of all. If you are not sleeping well right now, the first most important thing, you need a strict bedtime and you need a strict time where you wake up. I know I sound like your mum. I know it's a bit boring, but if you struggle with sleep right now, your body clock or your circadian rhythm is likely going to be out of sync, and your cortisol levels and your melatonin levels are going to be off. Cortisol is what wakes you up in the morning. It's given a bad rep called your stress hormone. It's not inherently a bad hormone. We do need some cortisol to actually make sure that we feel awake in the mornings when we wake up. Melatonin is what makes you feel sleepy. Usually, if you're not sleeping well, it's because these hormones are not at the right levels at the right time of the day. We want a lot of melatonin in the nighttime, a lot of adrenaline in the morning. When they swap round, that's when it becomes a problem. So the first thing you need to do, solid bedtime, solid wake up. Be really strict on that. Say bedtime's at 10:30, I wake up at 6, whatever it might be. Try and do that every single day as much as you can, at least in the working week, at least. Next thing, if you struggle with sleep, when you get out of bed in the morning, we can do it in the summer because it's light from like 4 a.m. at the moment. Get up, head outside for 10 minutes, get some sunlight in your eyes. That also helps to reset those hormones and reset your body clock. 10 minutes in the morning, ideally not through a window, ideally outside. If you take a cup of tea outside with you in the morning or a coffee, or even if you get some steps in the morning when you wake up, get out in the morning when you wake up, 10 minutes in your eyes. That also massively really helps to regulate and get you feeling sleepy when you should do. Sleep hygiene, make sure that you've got decent curtains, decent blackout blinds. Make sure that you are, if you're someone that works from home, try to not work in your room, for example, because then you're associating that space with probably stress and work. You want your room to be a really chilled space. Make sure your bedroom's not too hot. I'm saying that with a pinch of salt because we're in a heat wave at the moment. For those of you that have aircon, you guys are incredibly lucky. As much as you can when we're not going through a massive heat wave, keeping a fairly cooler temperature in your room is really good because our body temperature has to cool down when we go to sleep. So if it's a little bit colder in the room, it helps to fall asleep faster. Limit your caffeine window as well. That's a really big one, really important one. If you struggle with sleep right now, you need to have a strict caffeine cutoff at like 1 p.m. I am really sensitive to caffeine. If I have coffee past 1, it is so hard for me to go to bed. I'm like a little baby. So I have one or two coffees in the morning. I have no coffee after 1 p.m. That's my cutoff time. Finally, if you really struggle with sleep, before you start thinking about sleeping tablets and getting medicated in that way, take a magnesium supplement in the nighttime as well before bed. I've put here if you have young children, dot, dot, dot. If you have young children, I know that what I'm saying to you right now is probably an absolute pipe dream. And you think, well, Zoe, you don't have kids, so it's all good for you. And yes, I don't have kids, and my time will come when I hopefully do have kids one day and I don't get any sleep. I just want to say, if you have young kids, I am aware that this might not be your full reality right now. If you have a baby right now, this might not be your reality. And I very much understand that. If you are a parent right now, what you need to do is just take what you can get. You probably are going to have some nights where you get like 2 hours. You are probably going to have unbroken sleep. For you guys, you can still get results. I'm not saying if you're not getting 9 hours of perfect sleep, you're not going to get results. This is just about how can we keep you on track, keep you accelerating. If that's your reality right now, we just work with your circumstances and we do what you can. And just know that obviously it's not going to be forever for you. It's going to be a season. But I just want to caveat that I'm aware of that. Okay. Habit number 3, meal prepping without spending hours in the kitchen. If you guys are not meal prepping right now, you are making life a lot harder for yourself. But when I say meal prep, I do not mean you now have to go away and cook 21 identical meals every single Sunday and suddenly become a prep kitchen. You absolutely don't. I don't do that. And it would be very hypocritical of me to expect you guys to do that. But the goal is to make healthy choices for you when you're trying to lose weight that are the easiest choices possible. If you are someone who has time, if you really enjoy to cook, if you love to meal prep, this is what you can do. So if you have the time, batch cook some protein sauces, store it in the fridge, put some chicken in the air fryer, get some Greek yogurt in, get some egg whites in, and some eggs. Prep some different protein sources for the week. So you can prep some chicken, some beef. If you're a veggie or a vegan like me, you can prep some tofu or some seitan, get protein powder in, batch cook those and store them in the fridge. Then cook pasta slash potato slash any carbs in bulk as well, some carb sources to then store in the fridge. I just put not rice in brackets here. Just be careful about bulk cooking rice. You can cook some rice and eat it 1 to 2 days after, but it can be and can give you food poisoning if you have rice in the fridge for like 5, 6 days. I believe it's because it contains arsenic. So I always want to caveat that. Don't go away and prep 7 days worth of rice and then get sick and then blame me. And then chop your fruit and veg ready for the week. That's a really solid, decent amount of meal prepping. Or if you're someone that loves to make actual full recipes, you can do that too. That's if you're someone that enjoys meal prepping and if you have time. If you're someone like me that doesn't like it very much and wants it to be as quick as possible, you don't have to spend hours and you don't have to dedicate your whole weekend to this. Instead, keep it simple, get convenience foods in. Things like a pre-cooked chicken from the deli counter in the supermarket, microwave rice, frozen veg, ready to go protein sources, salad bags, high protein yogurts or Greek yogurts to keep in the fridge, ready to eat protein snacks like protein bars, and protein powder. Convenience food doesn't have to mean unhealthy. When we think of convenience food, I think we often think of like, fast food, grab and go stuff that is not good for you. It can be decent. So if you're someone that doesn't have the time, maybe you don't have a lot of, I don't know, maybe you're someone that's got a really small kitchen, you don't have an ample amount of space to fit stuff in, or maybe you just don't want to, and that's also okay. You need to do what you can with the circumstances that you have. And there is absolutely no reason why you guys cannot do a little bit of meal prepping, no matter who you are, no matter how busy you are, no matter your circumstance. It can be done. You just need to pick one of these two. So I want you to use for your action step for this, I want you to use this simple guide for most of your meals. And this is the plate technique. If you're like, how do I hit my protein goal? How do I make sure my meals are balanced? I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to break it down so it's so simple for you. This is called the plate technique. When you build your meals, rather than thinking, I'm going to have some sort of pasta dish or some sort of rice dish or noodles, instead, I want you to think, what's my protein source first of all? Fill half your plate with protein if fat loss is the goal for you right now. I then want you to fill a quarter of your plate with a choice of carbohydrate, whether that is pasta or rice or noodles or potatoes or breads or wraps, whatever it might be. Another quarter of your plate, fill it with some healthy fat sources. If you've already used cooking oils to cook your protein with or your carbs, that's going to cover you. But if you haven't, add some on there. Chia seeds are great. Avocado is great. Nut butters, nuts, those sorts of things. Then once you've built that plate up, add loads of veg on top, loads of salad or fruit on top, just to increase the volume and boost up your fiber content. It really can be as easy as that. It can be as easy as building your meals as that, and it should feel that easy. And this is a big piece of advice I want you guys to take forwards. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to trawl for hours on Instagram looking for all these bloggers that have created the most beautiful recipes. Their recipes are lovely, but if you're someone that's on a weight loss journey that is balancing family, job, kids, partner, trying to have a social life in the mix there, and also trying to lose weight and get below 100 kg and build yourself a healthier life, that isn't going to work for you. It's going to take too much time. Just keep things really simple and really basic whilst you're in this zone of trying to lose weight. And I promise you, it will be really quick and really simple. So, your action step now, even if you have 20 minutes free, find a pocket of time, do a little bit of meal prepping. You will thank yourself in the week when you've saved yourself all that time. Two more. Habit number 4. Pre-track your food, use calorie banking. These two things coincide together and work fantastically well. Pre-tracking, when I say that, what I mean is logging your meals before you eat them rather than doing it on the go or getting to the end of your day and thinking, oh shit, I haven't tracked, and then trying to log everything. It helps you to not forget anything. So it keeps you as accurate as possible with your calorie deficit, helps you stay within your calorie target. It reduces impulsive food choices because your meals for the day are planned out. If you do a bit of meal prepping, it suddenly makes pre-tracking very, very easy, which, as you can see, is why I've linked the two together in this call. You stay within your calorie target, you reduce your impulsive food choices, you can make adjustments before it's too late as well, and you feel in control of your day. You are in control of your diet. Tracking does not have to feel restrictive or boring or unhealthy. It can be a great tool of education and it can be sustainable and it can be quick and easy as well if you do a bit of meal prepping. Once you've done that, start pre-tracking your food. Then you can go about your whole working day not worrying about your logging. It's done. You're like, I'm logging the same breakfast I have often, really simple dinner, really simple lunch. It's all logged in. And you can just go about the rest of your day enjoying it. Calorie banking as well. These two coincide and are so good together. This also links to the pre-tracking. If you guys have meals out, which I know most of us do on the weekends, if you have a meal coming up that you know about, you're going out, you're probably going to go over your calories. This allows you to create extra flexibility just by eating slightly fewer calories early in the week. Before I dive into this, it's not something I recommend doing every single week because I want you guys to be eating as much as possible for as long as possible. But on those weeks where you've got big weekend plans, meals out, calorie banking works really well. So here's an example. Let's say your calorie target right now is 2,000 calories a day. If you have a meal out on Saturday coming up that you know about, Monday to Friday, eat from 1,800 to 1,900 calories per day. That would mean that by the time you get to Saturday, you have banked and saved anywhere from 500 to 1,000 extra calories to use on the weekend, all the while keeping your weekly calorie deficit and keeping your fat loss progress going. View your calories as a weekly target. It does not matter if you go over on your calories one day, your body's not going to reset at midnight. Think of them as a weekly goal. It allows for that flexibility, and that is how you are able to lose weight, but not miss out on the weekends, not miss out on things. But it does take you being willing to do a bit of meal prepping and a little bit of organization ahead of time. It gives you flexibility and the ability to still live life without feeling like you're failing, without feeling like you're undoing your progress. So these two things together, absolute game changer. So here are your action steps. I want you, if you're not doing this right now, one day this week or next week, to just practice pre-tracking your entire day's food before 10 a.m. and see how much less painful tracking can be when you commit to that mindset. If you have plans coming up this weekend, try a bit of calorie banking. Reduce your intake by 100 to 150 to 200 calories a day a few days beforehand. If you need some further clarification on that, you don't really know what that means or you need more help, message me. I'll help you with it. You'll be surprised how much easier it actually is to stay on track when you've made the decisions in advance and we're not deciding in the moment on emotion or on impulse. With the calorie banking, like I said, I don't recommend doing it every week because we don't want to be restricting massively in the week to then binge on the weekends. I don't want to encourage that cycle. And also, when you do calorie bank, try to take it from your carbs and your fats, try to keep your protein up, just so that you're not too hungry. But this is going to be a game-changing tip for you. Final tip, walk more. You guys that did the step challenge last month absolutely killed it. And there's going to be another one coming soon. I thought I'd be kind and not put another one during a heat wave. So we're holding fire on it for now until the hot weather calms down. I think possibly August might be the next one. I'm waiting for this hot weather to go, basically. But this fifth habit is walking more. I give every single one of you a step goal. You probably might sometimes think, why do I have to do these steps? Why is it so important? It is one of the easiest ways to increase your calorie expenditure, which when you're trying to lose weight, bingo. It increases your calorie expenditure a lot more than short bursts of cardio do. Even though when you do cardio, you feel like you're sweating loads, you must be burning a lot. It's not really how our bodies work. You're much better off to do more daily movement each day and build that up over time. That actually increases your calorie expenditure more than bursts of cardio. It's also good because it doesn't massively increase your appetite when you're trying to lose weight. It will still improve your cardiovascular health to an extent, not as much as cardio, of course, but it does really help. Helps you recover from workouts better because you're moving more regularly. Reduces stress. Getting outside in nature does so much for mental health, like it's crazy. And it is easy to recover from compared to lots of cardio. So that's why walking is so good for weight loss. So you should aim to gradually increase your daily steps rather than just relying on one big long walk at the weekend. So your action steps, commit to hitting your daily step goal that I've given you as much as you can. It doesn't have to be 10K. 10K is just a lovely round number someone plucked out of thin air one day when they were coming up with this concept, basically, or discovering the science on it. It doesn't have to be 10K. Just make sure it's slightly more than what you normally do. If you do fall short one day, pick it up later in the week. We just talked about calorie banking, and I said about how viewing your calories as a weekly target and a weekly goal is going to be a game changer for you. Same applies to your steps. There's going to be days where you can't get out of the office or work is manic and you get 2,000 steps in. It's going to happen. It's okay. Pick up a few more on the days where you have more time and when you're free. Again, that weekly target rather than daily gives you a lot more flexibility and a lot less stress. Those are your 5 habits that are simple, quick, but are going to absolutely transform your results. None of these habits seem very impressive on their own. So I want to talk about the compound effect of these. They don't seem impressive on their own, but imagine if you are someone who sleeps pretty decently, most consistently for 8 hours, drinks about 2.5 litres of water a day, hits their protein through using meal prepping, plate technique, walks 8 to 10K steps, eats lots of fiber, and strength trains 3 times per week. They will pretty much always outperform someone who is looking for shortcuts or thinking, oh, I'm freaking out. Maybe what I'm doing isn't working. Maybe I need to just completely ditch my plan and go and find something else. That person that's committing to mastering the basics over and over is going to get the results compared to that other person and that other mindset. What I want you guys to think about now is which one habit is going to give you the biggest return. You do not need to focus on everything all at once. And I don't want you to come away from this call feeling overwhelmed. Instead, ask yourself out of these, what's my weakest area? Is it water? Is it sleep? Meal prepping? Planning for events? The calorie banking or the pre-tracking? Or is it my steps? Fix one and focus on one first before you think about fixing all of them. And don't move on until you really feel like you have mastered that one that needs a bit of attention. Your action plan for this week, I want you to choose one habit to improve out of those five. If you're on the school live, write it down for me. Jot it on your phone or if you have pen and paper. So, some examples. I'm now going to make sure I drink 2.5 litres of water a day. I'm going to be in bed by 10:30. No excuses. Not midnight anymore. I'm going to pre-track my food for one day this week and see how I find it. I'm going to walk 8K steps, or I'm going to make sure that I make a really big conscious effort to prep some veg and add more veg to my lunch and to my dinner. Master that one habit, then build on it. That's what I want you guys to focus on this week. The women and the people who get the best results aren't usually doing extraordinary things. They are the people that are doing ordinary things, like these five things I've just talked you through, but they're doing them extraordinarily consistently. And that is my passing thought for you all. It's been great to have so many of you here. Well done for showing up today and coming and learning more. The people that come to these calls, whether that's live or listening back, these people are always people that take the stuff and end up doing really well because you guys are here and you're willing to learn and you're willing to put the work in. So well done for showing up and making that choice. I'm very proud of you all. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go hang out with Marnie for a little bit longer. It's been great to have so many of you on this call. Any further questions, you know where I am. Chuck it in the group and we can all help each other out. But have a great evening, and I am looking forward to catching up with all of you guys tomorrow when we go through check-in. Have a good one.